Hey y'all, Dr. D here again to all my practice members, and this is video number 3, and I first want to thank those of you that have responded who really have told me that they enjoy the videos that I've been sending out, and I'm going to continue to do so, as I said on my last video. I know we're all going through a lot with what's happening with the coronavirus and et cetera, and many of us are out of work and being careful about being exposed and the 6 feet apart from each other, et cetera. And we're going to get through this. As I mentioned, we're going to do this together. But if I can continue to teach you and educate you also to the process even more, and again, some of you that are viewing this video, I know have been patients for a long time, and you continue, and again, I thank you, to support me in telling me that you never grow tired of hearing good old Dr. D share his information, from all these years. Very special video today, and I'll get to an element of it in a few moments. I just want to preface a certain thing. I have a patient of ours, Linda, who has volunteered to be, she does have an appointment today. I'm in the office today, and was willing to allow me to demonstrate and educate you in the process of the work, and allow me to post this video to you guys out there, so that you understand more about really what we're doing and why that maybe this is the best place to be in the process of the support of your nervous system and what you need to do. So again, in starting, as many of you are aware, what separates us from everyone else, and what I've tried to educate you as the patient too, is the understanding that we are this triune model of health. And this is something that I learned and was educated many, many decades ago. And everything that we do at Davis Advanced Health System, in our wellness programs, in our visit-by-visit office visits, and so forth, all reflect this relationship of the triune model of health. So again, this triune model of health, of triune of well-being, is this triangle. And this triangle, primarily, if you can put yourself in the triangle, this is every human being on the planet. And again, as you know, there's the bottom layer, which is the physical. The bones, the nerves, the organs, the glands, the tissues. Really, in a way, no different than an animal. Very close. But then we have this side, the mental, emotional side, the mind. The mind allows us to think and to reason and have emotion and feelings and desires and wishes and so forth. But also we have to look at this side, and this is what I try and educate you to. So whether you're a believer, an agnostic, an atheist, and whatever, there's no judgment, we have to at least acknowledge whether you call this God, soul, spirit, nature, Buddha, we have to acknowledge that there is a force within us. Call it energy, call it vibration, that's there because it's there when we're alive and it isn't when we're not. And this side of the triangle, really the power that is us, the essence of who we really are, is the most really important part of the triangle, but they all work together. And an underlying health issue, a lowered immune response, a lower back problem, degenerative disease, all stems from an imbalance in this particular triangle. And that's also the reason why we cannot, and I try and educate you, we cannot look to treat the same person problem. That's why not everybody, even though we have the same symptoms or conditions, the underlying cause may not be coming from for the same for that particular individual. That's an important concept. So I use the analogy, let's say, 100 people had a lower back condition, right, exhibiting the same symptoms, but maybe 50 of it comes from the physical side, 25 come from this side of the triangle, and the rest come from this side. How do we know? We can't just treat them the same way. Also, we have educated you to the understanding that this triangle, when imbalanced in the priority, so if this is the priority side, the physical, then it's going to alter, if it's out of balance, this side and this side. So one side affects them all. And that's what Pythagoras, the ancient mathematician, said. We have a distortion, one side affects them all. And that's why it's important, and we've tried to educate you to understand our ability in our system, which I'm going to demonstrate in a few minutes, that the priority side impacts the other two sides, and we have to have the systems in place and the techniques, whether it's visceral manipulation that we do, craniopathy, nutrition, support, specific spinal manipulation, extremity, and so forth, to account for what's being affected. And that's why over all the years, I've prided myself on being the best and certified in many of these advanced techniques that we utilize, plus the development of our own systems in place, the vibrational energetic system that we call natural force healing. So I want you to embrace the model that no matter what's going on out there, that even all the people that have gotten sick or whatever, even though we understand that this is a virulent virus, for example, I'm using this, there has to be a distortion first in this triangle somewhere that has altered that human being in a way that has made them more vulnerable, susceptible. Which is why certain people that have become infected, I'm just using this as an example, have not necessarily produced symptoms. Also, as you know, well, I will take that back, maybe you do not know, that our system and the techniques that we used and develop allow us, each time you come into this office, to evaluate the primary side of that triangle. Now, if we go over to this side of the triangle, we see again this, with all these circles around it, layers of the onion as we call it. So I just want you to understand that inherent in each and every one of us, there's a perfect blueprint right now that exists. A perfect us physically, mentally, and spiritually. Also, if you notice on the triangle, what I learned decades ago is that the physical side, where we manifest a lot of our problems and symptoms, is only 1% as the originating cause of the problem. The mental side is 9% of the weight, and this side is 90%, which means that the light is always turned on, but it may not be expressed. And if this side is not being expressed, then it's fostering imbalance in the other sides of the triangle. Each one of these layers that are represented in this chart primarily relate to a stress pattern, emotional, spiritual, chemical, environmental, where the organism has not responded or recovered from the stressor. Which means that if we have a loss early on in life, our nervous systems have to respond back to adapt to it and then allow us to continue. So each of these layers that constructs themselves is a stress of life that we have not recovered from. And the more of these layers that have developed, the more that the car has been speeding downhill, creating disturbance. So really what we're trying to do is initiate the process through all the techniques and things that we do to peel this onion away. And then support the part of the body or us that have become affected by the priority side of the triangle being imbalanced. Also, I just want you to, over all of the years, what we understand that your body is a roadmap. It has reflexes and flows of energy and many other things that relate to the organs, glands, tissues, systems, nutrition, biochemistry. So when you see me test you, right, we're always creating and researching these new points, or these new points on the map, that we are always looking to create another assessment point or tool to evaluate the patient. And then also back it up and verify that point that we create through blood tests that verify what we're finding, or x-ray, or hormonal testing, or stool testing, and so forth. So I'm going to demonstrate some of this today so that you can have an understanding of, again, what's available for you in this time of need, to have better clarity about what it is that we're doing here and what we're trying to do. So hang on a second, I'll be back in a moment.